Hello everyone, welcome to EXP Unleashed. My name is Andy Huynh, and today I'm going to share with everyone the top 5 things to consider before joining real estate. But before I dive deep into that, I just want to share a little bit about my story and how I got into real estate. So it was 2006 when I graduated from university, and a great friend of mine who was in car sales approached me and said, "Hey Andy, would you consider doing car sales, because you can definitely utilize the experience in terms of sales." And at the same time, he knew that I had a great passion for cars. And lastly, he knew that I'd do great. So I trusted him. He was a great friend of mine, and I'm very grateful for the wonderful opportunity. It made me to whoever I am today. And again, thank you so much for doing that. But in any case, him and I remember quite clearly that during the times where we'll work together on the same shift when it was a little bit slow, I remember that we'll be in the showroom and we'll be kind of dreaming a bit, right? We'll be talking about, hey, since that we've been doing car sales for all this time, what's the next best thing, or what's the next new thing that we will be doing? And quite frequently, real estate actually had come up as a topic, but there was a lot of wavering because we didn't know that whether we should make the leap of faith or the transition or not, because both him and I were doing really well in car sales, and it was something that was comfortable, and we knew that if we were to get into real estate, we would be charter into uncharted territories for us, right? And that, I guess, that uncertainty kind of was very fearful. It wasn't until 2015 where I felt that I was ready to take on this leap of faith, and that I felt it in my gut that it was now the time to do this, right? So I did a bunch of research, and I looked it up in the internet, and I found a bunch of mixed reviews. But at the same time, I was able to navigate at the end to look at the steps and the processes involved into obtaining my real estate license. This video, the purpose of it, hopefully I can make it more of a concise list. That's why I wanted to do the top 5 things that you should consider if you're finding that you're in this crossroads where should you or should you not get into real estate, or if getting into real estate is something that you're interested in. What are the things to consider? So hopefully you see some value into that. So I'm going to start really to kind of highlighting the first point is to know your powerful and inspiring why. Why you want to be in real estate in the first place. Asking questions of yourself such as, is it simply for money? Is it to help others? Is it because you want to be an entrepreneur? I know that was one of my reasons. I wanted to make my own schedule. I want to work for myself. I wanted to, write my own paycheck. That's why I got into real estate, and that's partly the reason, right? Another part is for me is to meet more people and broaden my network. Again, in this type of business, the opportunity to do that and building intimate, solid relationships with people is definitely there. And it was something that I was acquainted to back when I was selling cars. Now, why you need to know your why is because it's going to give you what I call clarity and drive, right? Clarity is what gives you the power to take action. And we all know what drive does, right? It keeps us going. And it keeps us going even when times are tough. Now, the key here, though, is to be specific. The more specific, the better. So normally I would recommend you to write things down, keep it somewhere where it's accessible. Sometimes you'd read it daily. Sometimes you'd read it when times get tough. I know that's something that I personally do. That gives me that reminder, right? That refocus of why I decided to do or start real estate in the first place. And sometimes all of us can utilize that, a little bit of a reminder, and it keeps us going, right? The second highlight that I want to point out is the cost involved, right? Because real estate, in my personal opinion, is relatively a more costly business to get into, right? Something that a lot of people kind of oversee, in a sense that they don't plan properly, and at the end of the day they might set themselves up for failure and end up having to kind of quit early because they don't have the funds to kind of continue. So the cost that's involved normally that one person should expect, at least if you're located in the Edmonton and Alberta area. Again, I do recommend that you check out on your local area and what the prices are, and also what the courses involved are. But just speaking specifically to Alberta, the first thing that you have to do if you're looking into getting into real estate is doing a suitability review. And it costs $200 to do that. And essentially what it is a questionnaire that asks you in regards to if you ever had any serious criminal offenses, and also your education level, if you're proficient in English. They want to make sure that you're suitable to become a realtor, even before registering for a course. So if you do get, again, after you complete that and you do get a approval from the real estate council that yes, you're okay to go ahead and register for your courses, the first course that you want to be looking out for is called the Fundamentals of Real Estate. And with that course in particular, it's broken down to two parts. And once you register for that course and you pay your fees of $1,250, they're going to mail you two big binders full of modules. And once you finish the first binder of modules, you'll also do an exam, or schedule yourself to do an exam, where you would actually go and do the exam on a physical location. And don't quote me on this, because I know there's a couple locations that you can take the exam at, and usually the exam fee is around $50 to $60. And the passing grade on that is 80%. And if you don't get 80%, then you'll have to redo the exam and repay the exam fee. So it's something that you want to be aware of. And at the same time, as I mentioned, there's two parts to the fundamentals. So after you finish and complete your first exam, then you'll move on to the second portion of the Fundamentals of Real Estate course. After you're done that, then what happens is now you can register for your specialty. In Alberta, you can specialize in residential real estate, commercial real estate, rural, and also property management, and each requires a license to do that, right? And with that, just bear in mind that whatever you're interested in terms of specialization, that those are the courses that you will have to take, and the same process kind of applies with studying and doing the exam. Now, after you complete that, for myself, I did the residential specialization. Once I pass that exam, it doesn't automatically mean that I'm now licensed. What requires of you is you actually have to register and sign up at a brokerage to be considered licensed. And with that, once you sign up, there are also fees that the broker or the brokerage will collect on behalf of the board. And the fees are broken down to this. So there's a REIX fee, spelled REIX, and that's your insurance fee that you're paying, just in case if there's any legality issues, if you're getting sued or anything like that. It's $275 a year. And then there's also local board fee called REI dues, which is $560 per year. There's a data access fee where you can access your MLS information. That's $470. And then for the lockbox access is $285. Per year. And all of these prices are not inclusive of GST. Any of the courses that you wanted to take that I mentioned, such as the commercial, rural, or property management, it's $800 to take those courses. And again, it's not mandatory, but if it's something that you want to practice in, then it's something that you need to do in order to be licensed in it. So I talked about financially what the costs are. Another factor you got to consider is the time costs, right? So I would imagine a lot of you that is watching this video right now who's considering getting into real estate probably is working at a job, working somewhere where you have a set schedule. So you want to be strategic about this, because you're going to have to allow time for yourself to learn and study the course materials. And I know that some people have, done it after they get off work or during their breaks. So whatever it is, just plan for it so you don't be surprised and feel overwhelmed. Now, personally, when I was studying for the courses, I was trying to power through the courses myself, and hopefully I can, maintain a certain momentum, because I know of myself that if I let things cool off, I'm never gonna, it's very hard at least to get back on track and doing it, right? So I remember that I was doing, 4 to 6 hours a day, and it took me about 2.5 months to complete everything, including exams. I know that some people have completed faster than, my time frame, but also I know that others have completed much longer, like 12 plus months. So just bear in mind that the speed of completing all these courses will depend on your individual motivation, your commitment, and of course your time schedule, right? So let's move on to point number 3. Point number 3 is having a financial buffer. When you first start real estate, you probably won't expect to have a deal right off the bat, unless you already have something lined up beforehand, which some people do, but most people don't. So you want to make sure that you have a buffer on your finances. And how much buffer should you have? People that I talk to normally will say 3 to 6 months worth of income to cover expenses. And I would say I tend to agree with that time frame, because it takes time working with clients. It takes time to write an offer, condition removal, of course, possession date as well. And after that, lawyers then will cut the checks to the brokerages. And lastly, we're one of the last people that gets paid, right? So you want to make sure that you understand that it is a little bit of a timely process, that it's not automatically that you get paid right when conditions are removed. So you want to make sure that you're not surprised with that. And of course, having this buffer allows you to work under pressure, but it's pressure that is manageable. It doesn't overwhelm and affect your motivation and your performance, which is key, because you don't want to be working under a detrimental kind of a situation where you're stressed over money, and that now you're not performing to your full capacity. And again, it's just setting yourself up for failure, right? And I find that if you're able to prepare for it and you expect that to happen, then again, you're not surprised, right? Highlight number 4 I wanted to point out is finding the right brokerage. So as I mentioned, after you pass your exams, the next step to get licensed is to find a brokerage to apply at and to obtain your license at and hang your license at, right? So again, right now in the market, it's more than ever that the abundance of brokerages out there is enormous, right? There's a lot to choose from. The selection is great. I would recommend that you shop around. When you shop around, though, make sure that you have a list of items, questions that are important to you that you ask your brokerage, and the brokerage that you're planning to apply for, or the agent that is referring you or introducing you to that brokerage, right? And they're able to answer all your questions. And one of the tips that I would say is try your best to not apply at a brokerage simply because it's the first one that you see or someone that is in it. Again, you just want to make sure that a few things that lines up for you, right? Like, for example, the culture of the brokerage, the vision, the values, the features, the benefits, it really aligns with your goals. And I say this a lot, is not one brokerage fits all. And just because it fits the needs and the goals of your friend or a family member, it might not do the exact same for you. So you want to make sure that you do the due diligence and that you're looking out for your best interest at the end of the day, right? So the next thing in terms of brokerage is you want to make sure you understand the business model of each brokerage, because there's a few out there, and you want to make sure that the brokerage model aligns with your values, aligns with your goals as well, and that it's offering you the benefit that you're looking for. And again, that's why if you interview a few brokerages and narrow down your search that way, it's a lot more clear And like I mentioned earlier, clarity is power, right? So you want to make sure that you narrow it down that way, that you do the research and do the homework, take your time before you commit to any single brokerage out there. The last point that I want to share with you guys is going solo or joining a team. I know that when I first decided to, about towards the end of when I was to complete all my exams and courses, I was starting to think, what kind of brokerage would I want to join, be a part of, and whether I should be, a solo agent or a, part of a team. And for me personally, I decided to join a team. And again, my personal reason is to join a team was to obtain mentorship, guidance, and support. Again, real estate is a really difficult business to be a part of. And I know that, if you've never been in sales, especially in sales before, or if you've never owned a business, you don't know where to start, right? So I learned that, after that, real estate requires an agent to have a business plan, a good framework of processes and systems to follow, ways on how to obtain leads, ways of tapping into one's contact sphere, and having a good understanding of sales and customer service, so on and so forth. So I personally found that joining a team was beneficial to kickstart my real estate career at the very least. But I understand that it is very subjective. So I want to make sure that, I let you guys know that you assess your needs accordingly, right? Whether being on a team or being solo is more beneficial. Another point to kind of consider when you're joining a team is the commission split. So normally there's a commission split between you and the team leader or whomever is training you, which is fair because that person is, offering their time, their resources, and energy to train you while operating and running their business. So most likely on your first few deals, they'll probably be doing most of the heavy lifting or most of the work anyway. So usually with the commission split is well deserved. So it's something that you should be expecting, right? But again, there's different commission splits. So you want to make sure that you're clear on what the percentages are so you don't have any gray area, right? When it comes down to there's a deal in place. When you're seeking out for, let's say, mentorship, if that's important to you and you're looking towards finding a great mentor, you want to make sure that the mentor understands your learning style. And, with that, him or her has adequate time to train you and is someone that is willing to go on a buyer's or seller's appointment with you. Now, when I say that, that might not always be the case, but for me, at least, I'm a very hands-on person. I'm very visual, so I like to see how people do things and learn that way. So if you're the type of learner to excel in that area, then maybe that learning style is something that you have as well. So therefore, you want to align that with the similar teaching style so they can, coincide with that and complement that side of you, right? And the very last point in terms of having like a mentor is the mentor and you should always constantly be adding value to the relationship. You don't want to be stagnant. You don't want it to be one-sided. You want to make sure that everyone is there for a reason and that, they're constantly providing that value so it enriches the relationship moving forward so you have a prosperous kind of relationship, right? And then, again, the recap that really, I feel that a great mentor or a team leader and joining a team can be a valuable asset to you, but also I know that there's solo agents out there that thrive in the business alone. So you have to be the one to decide whether you more are in the solo side of things, you can do things yourself, learn yourself, or if you're someone that like to support the guidance and the mentorship of a team leader and be, surrounded with other members, that's for you, then maybe consider joining a team. So that is all for the top 5 things to consider before joining real estate. Again, please check your local market for the information specific to your area. Now, if you found this video helpful and valuable, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. This is a brand new channel where I talk about personal experiences with real estate. I try to upload frequently to provide as much value as possible to as many people as possible. Also, if you hit the notification bell, you'll be immediately notified as soon as my next video gets posted. I look forward to welcome you to the EXP Unleashed community, and remember to always unleash your potential. I hope you have a great day. Talk to you again soon. Bye now.